all is mind, not metaphorically, literally. And if that's true, it means the entire universe is happening inside of you. Pause. Right now, neurons in your brain are firing in patterns that shouldn't be possible, creating thoughts that weigh nothing yet move everything, generating consciousness from mere matter, or so science believed until it discovered something that changes everything. The first law of the master key system isn't just philosophy, it's physics waiting to be proven. The universe is mental, Hanel wrote in 1912, held in the mind of the all. Scientists laughed, mystics nodded, but neither understood what he was really saying. Because if the universe is mental, whose mind is dreaming it? Yours and mine, and the 7 billion others walking this planet, all of us, none of us. Something that includes us, but extends beyond comprehension. The ancient Hermeticists called it the all, modern physicists call it the quantum field. But the name doesn't matter. What matters is what happens when you discover you're not in the universe. You are the universe thinking about itself. Dr. Robert Lanza shocked the scientific community in 2007 with his theory of biocentrism. Life doesn't exist within the universe, he claimed. The universe exists within consciousness. Space and time aren't external realities, they're tools of perception. Without an observer, there's no universe. Just probability, potential, an infinite library of could-bes waiting for consciousness to read them into existence. Sound familiar? It should. Hanel described the exact same principle 95 years earlier. But he went further. He provided the mechanism, the method, the mental technology for navigating a universe that exists in consciousness alone. The implications are staggering. If all is mind, then every law of physics is actually a law of psychology. Every material limitation is a mental construction. Every impossibility is just a thought that hasn't been properly conceived. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the logical conclusion of the universe being mental. But here's where it gets terrifying. If the universe is mental and you're part of that mind, then every thought you think doesn't just affect reality. It is reality, creating, destroying, reshaping the cosmic dream with every synaptic firing. No wonder they hid this knowledge. Imagine 7 billion unconscious dreamers suddenly realizing they're dreaming. The evidence was always there, hidden in quantum mechanics, buried in neuroscience, scattered across disciplines that refused to speak to each other. Until now, Dr. Dean Radin at the Institute of Noetic Sciences has spent 30 years documenting the impossible. Consciousness affecting random number generators, thoughts influencing distant objects, minds connecting across space and time. The effect sizes are small, but they're real, measured, replicated, published in peer-reviewed journals that mainstream science pretends don't exist. Why? Because accepting this data means accepting that consciousness isn't produced by the brain. It's channeled through it. The brain isn't the generator, it's the receiver, tuning into frequencies of a cosmic mind that permeates everything. The double-slit experiment proved it decades ago. Fire photons at 2 slits. They create an interference pattern, acting like waves. But add a detector to see which slit they pass through. The pattern disappears. They act like particles. The mere act of observation changes physical reality. Not interaction, not measurement. Observation. Consciousness collapses possibility into actuality. But quantum physicists couldn't accept the implications, so they invented elaborate explanations. Multiple universes, hidden variables, anything to avoid the simple truth Hanel stated plainly. Mind is the only reality, everything else is manifestation. Here's what changes when you accept this law. Your thoughts aren't private events happening inside your skull. They're cosmic events rippling through the universal mind. Every neuron that fires sends waves through the quantum field. Every mental image you hold creates a template in the space of possibilities. Every belief you maintain warps probability around it. The Hermetic texts encoded this in symbolism. As above, so below. The macrocosm and microcosm are one. Your mind and the universal mind differ only in degree, not in kind. You're not a drop in the ocean, you're the ocean focused through a drop, but focus changes everything. A magnifying glass doesn't create sunlight, it concentrates it, until paper burns, until matter transforms. Your consciousness works the same way. It takes the infinite potential of universal mind and focuses it through attention, through intention, through sustained mental imagery. This is why meditation works, why visualization manifests, why prayer across all traditions follows the same pattern. They're technologies for focusing infinite mind through finite awareness. The ancients knew. They encoded it in architecture, in sacred geometry, in mystery school teachings. The pyramid shape isn't arbitrary. It's consciousness focusing from broad base to singular point. The mandala isn't decoration, it's a map of mind creating reality from center to circumference. Modern science is just catching up, but some have already run ahead. Tesla knew what others refused to see. "My brain is only a receiver," he declared. "In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, inspiration." He didn't invent. He tuned in. His laboratory wasn't just wires and coils. It was an antenna for cosmic intelligence. At exactly 3:33 a.m., he would enter what he called the receiving state. Solutions would arrive complete. Blueprints would appear in his mind's eye, perfect in every detail. He'd build machines that worked. On the first try, because he'd already constructed them in the mental realm where all creation begins. The CIA studied this phenomenon. Project STARGATE ran for 23 years. Remote viewers accessing distant locations through consciousness alone. Describing facilities they'd never seen. Finding hostages. Predicting events. The program was officially terminated in 1995. Officially. But the research continues under different names, different budgets. Because they discovered something that validated Hahnel's first law. Consciousness isn't local. It's not trapped in your skull. It permeates space like a field. Your brain is a transceiver, broadcasting and receiving thoughts that exist in what physicist David Bohm called the implicate order, the mental blueprint underlying physical reality. A classified Stanford Research Institute study documented this. They had psychics describe Jupiter before the Voyager probe arrived. Their descriptions were so accurate, including details about rings scientists didn't expect, that researchers concluded consciousness could access information through non-physical means. Information existing where? In the universal mind that Hahnel described. The cosmic consciousness that mystics touched in ecstasy and scientists stumble upon in equations. The living intelligence that dreams galaxies into existence and thinks through every sentient being. But here's what they don't want widely known. Everyone has this ability, not just Tesla, not just trained psychics. Every human brain is equipped with the same quantum antennae, the same neural circuits for accessing infinite intelligence. We've just been programmed to ignore the signals. School trains you to think locally. Media keeps your attention scattered. Technology, ironically, disconnects you from the very field it manipulates. All to keep you from discovering what happens when human consciousness remembers its true nature. The ones who remember become dangerous. They see through market manipulation because they feel the collective fear being broadcast. They anticipate trends because they sense thoughts forming in the mass mind. They solve impossible problems because they access solutions from the same source that coordinates electrons and orbits planets. A hedge fund manager in Singapore practices Hahnel's mental exercises, Suddenly, he's predicting market movements with 91% accuracy, not through analysis, through direct knowing. A surgeon in Toronto visualizes operations in the mental realm first. Her success rate becomes legendary. Complications seem to avoid her patients, as if reality itself reorganizes to match her mental blueprint. They're not special. They're just tuned in. Every thought creates reality twice. First in the mental realm, instantly, perfectly, completely. Then in the physical, slowly, through probability, through circumstance, through what we mistake for coincidence. Dr. William Tiller proved this. At Stanford, he had meditators imprint simple intentions into electrical devices, increase the pH of this water by 1 point. Nothing else. Just focused thought impressed into circuits. Then he shipped these intention boxes to laboratories thousands of miles away. Placed near water, they changed its pH, exactly as programmed. Through pure intention translated into electromagnetic patterns, mind organizing matter at a distance. But water is simple. What about complex systems? What about human bodies? What about reality itself? The Global Consciousness Project has been measuring this since 1998. Random number generators running continuously around the world, usually producing pure randomness. But during events that focus human attention, 9/11, tsunamis, royal weddings, the numbers show patterns. Order emerges from chaos, as if collective consciousness creates a field that influences physical systems. 7 billion minds thinking as one. Now imagine what happens when those minds discover they're not separate processes, but terminals in a vast network, not individual drops, but waves in an infinite ocean of consciousness. The Hindus call it Brahman, the Buddhists, Buddha nature, the Christians, the mind of God. Hanel called it accessible, practical, controllable. The universal mind is not only intelligence, he wrote, but it is substance. And this substance is the attractive force which brings electrons together by the law of attraction, so they form atoms. Think about that. Consciousness isn't observing matter, it's creating it, holding it together. Every atom in your body exists because universal mind thinks it into being, constantly, continuously, and you are part of that thinking process. The implications shatter everything. Disease? A thought pattern crystallized in flesh. Poverty? A mental frequency made manifest. Limitation? The universal mind agreeing to play by rules you believe are real. This isn't victim blaming, it's recognizing victimhood as an illusion within a mental universe. A cancer researcher in Boston discovered this accidentally. She taught terminal patients Hanel's visualization techniques as stress relief. 30% went into spontaneous remission, not through medicine, through changing the mental blueprint their cells were following. The placebo effect isn't fake healing, it's real healing through pure mind. Every drug trial proves it. 30 to 70% of healing happens through belief alone. Sugar pills curing disease, fake surgeries fixing real problems. The mind healing what the mind created, but healing is just the beginning. If consciousness creates matter, if your thoughts ripple through universal mind, if reality is mental before it's physical, then mastering your mind isn't self-improvement. It's reality engineering. The universe is mental. You are a focusing point of that mind. And every thought you think is a command to infinity. But power without understanding creates catastrophe. The Wall Street crash of 1929, 23 executives practicing synchronized visualization for unlimited expansion. They got it, followed by unlimited contraction. The universe maintains balance through laws that don't care about human ambition. Here's what Hanel knew, but couldn't say directly. The universal mind isn't neutral, it's intelligent. It responds to consciousness according to patterns built into existence itself. Use: mental power for selfish ends. Reality mirrors that selfishness back amplified. Visualize from fear. The universe delivers exactly what you're afraid of. A tech entrepreneur in Austin learned this brutally. He mastered thought control, visualized his competitor's failure with scientific precision. Within months, his rival's company collapsed through random disasters. But the mental energy didn't dissipate. It followed the law of circulation. His own life began unraveling through the same random patterns. Marriage destroyed, health compromised, fortune evaporated. The universal mind has cosmic justice built into its operating system. This is why ancient schools required years of character development before teaching mental science. Why initiates took vows. Why knowledge was hidden in symbolism. Not to hoard power, to prevent self-destruction. Because in a mental universe, your thoughts don't just influence your life. They are your life. Dr. Masaru Emoto showed this with water crystals. Thoughts of love created beautiful geometric patterns. Thoughts of hate produced chaotic fragments. But water just reveals what happens invisibly. Every thought crystallizes. Every emotion generates form. Your mental atmosphere becomes your physical experience. The military knows. Classified programs use mass meditation to influence geopolitical events. Corporate think tanks employ consciousness consultants. Elite athletes hire mental architects. They understand. Whoever controls the mental realm controls physical outcomes. But control is the wrong word. You don't control universal mind any more than a wave controls the ocean. You harmonize with it. Align your individual consciousness with cosmic patterns. Think thoughts that match the universe's tendency toward growth, beauty, evolution. Fight these patterns. The universe fights back with mathematical precision. Philosopher in Greece discovered the formula. The quality of your consciousness determines the quality of your reality. Not sometimes, always, without exception. In a mental universe, there's no escaping the mirror of your own mind. This is the law of mentalism's terrible gift. Ultimate power coupled with ultimate responsibility. Every thought matters because every thought becomes matter. Every mental image casts shadows in someone's world. Every belief bends probability for better or worse. The universe isn't just mental, it's your mental activity sculpting collective experience. 7 billion gods dreaming. They're human, all creating, all responsible, all one. Ready to wake up? The exercise is deceptively simple. Hanel called it the secret of all power, all achievement, all possession. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Recognize that you are mind using a body, not a body having thoughts. Feel the distinction. The observer behind observation. The thinker behind thinking. The consciousness that remains when all else changes. Now the crucial step. Realize this individual consciousness is not separate from universal consciousness. It's the same mind focused through your particular lens. Like a hologram. Every piece contains the whole. Your mind contains infinite intelligence because it is infinite intelligence experiencing itself through apparent limitation. Students report the same progression. First week, nothing. Doubt. Mental noise. Second week, glimpses. Moments where the boundary between self and cosmos blurs. Fleeting recognition of vast intelligence just beyond conscious grasp. Third week, contact. The universal mind responds. Synchronicities multiply. Solutions arrive. Reality becomes suspiciously cooperative. Fourth week, integration. The terrible, beautiful truth becomes undeniable. You're not using universal mind. You are universal mind pretending to be separate. Every barrier was self-created. Every limitation was agreed upon. Every impossibility was just amnesia. But with recognition comes responsibility. A lawyer in London. achieved this state. Suddenly she could feel her client's thoughts, sense judges' decisions before they spoke. Her success rate approached the impossible. But she also felt the weight, knowing her mental state influenced every case, every life her thoughts touched. The gift became a burden until she learned the final secret: surrender, not passive acceptance, active alignment. Thinking with universal mind rather than from personal desire, becoming a clear channel for infinite intelligence rather than a muddy filter of ego. This is why masters speak of dying before death. Ego dissolution into cosmic consciousness. The neuroscience is staggering. Brain scans of advanced practitioners show impossible coherence. Different regions synchronizing at frequencies that shouldn't exist. The default mode network responsible for self-identity going quiet, while other networks activate in patterns resembling the universe's own structure. As above, so below. As within, so without. You don't have consciousness. You are consciousness having a human experience. The universe thinking itself into existence through billions of focal points, each believing they're separate, each destined to remember they're one. The law of mentalism isn't just the first lesson, it's the only lesson. Everything else is variation on this theme. Mind is all is mind. And you're the universe becoming conscious of itself, one thought at a time. Now you face the ultimate decision. Continue believing you're a separate being thinking private thoughts in an indifferent universe? Or accept what quantum physics, ancient wisdom, and your own deepest intuition have always known, that consciousness is the fundamental reality and you're its expression. This isn't philosophy anymore, it's practical technology. The law of mentalism reveals that every problem is mental before it's physical. Every solution exists in consciousness before it manifests. Every limitation is a thought believed too long. Master your mind, and you master the mechanism of creation itself. But mastery means responsibility. In a mental universe, victimhood is impossible. Blame becomes meaningless. Every experience reflects some aspect of consciousness, personal or collective. This terrifies those who profit from powerlessness, thrills those ready for authentic power. The evidence surrounds you. Placebo effects healing incurable diseases. Meditation literally rewiring brains. Collective attention shifting random number generators. Consciousness researchers documenting the impossible daily. The universe isn't material with mysterious consciousness emerging. It's consciousness appearing as matter. You are that consciousness. Focused, localized, temporarily convinced of separation. But awakening. The very fact you're hearing this message means your mental frequency is shifting, tuning to truths that we're always broadcasting, ready to experiment with reality's source code. Next episode, we explore what happens when science accidentally proves hermetic magic, when researchers stumble upon the exact mechanisms ancient mystics encoded in symbol, when laboratory experiments validate what initiates learned in candlelit temples, when the line between science and spirituality doesn't blur, it disappears. You'll discover why certain thoughts manifest instantly, while others never materialize. How group consciousness creates measurable fields. Why some people live in completely different realities despite sharing the same space. The scientific protocols for consciousness expansion that universities won't teach. But more than information, you'll receive the next key. The practical method for applying the law of mentalism. The technique that transforms intellectual understanding into lived experience. The exercise that proves, beyond doubt, that your mind and universal mind are one. The universe is mental. You are that mind localized. Every thought ripples through infinity. Every belief bends probability. Every sustained image must eventually precipitate into form. Now that you know, what will you think into existence? Reality isn't just listening, it's waiting for your instructions. See you in episode 3, when science accidentally proves hermetic magic, where ancient wisdom meets quantum mechanics, and both point to you.